Welcome to Quora Anonymous. If this is your first time and you like the video, please like and subscribe. If you would like to read along, turn on closed captioning with the 3 dots in the upper right corner. Now, let's begin. What is your dirtiest experience as an adult? I was in a very serious relationship. I loved him more than anyone could, and was ready to die for him. I would earn for him, and lie to my parents for him. Meet him secretly whenever I could. I still remember the day when it all happened. It was his birthday, and I had written a poem for him in a red paper, which I had cut into a heart. I skipped college to go meet him, and he came to pick me up with his friend. We drove almost 50 kilometers away to his friend's house. I gave him my letter, and watched him read it in front of his friend, and then casually throw it away, while they both laughed at it. It hurt me deeply, and I just sat waiting for us to do something. My boyfriend received a call, and stood up going his way to the door. I followed him, and was about to step out when he turned, and asked me where I was coming. I said I'll go, wherever he plans to, but he asked me to wait in the house, and that he will come back soon. I trust him, and so I agreed. I went and sat on the sofa biding my time, and his friend came, and tried to talk to me. I was too hurt to maintain a conversation, so I got up, and told him I needed to leave. I called my boyfriend and he didn't pick up. I called again and again with still no answer for him. I panicked and got up to leave. I reached the door to find it locked, and the next gone blurred, while I felt his friend's arms enclosing me within. I felt his breath, so close to me as he lifted me, like I weighed nothing, and laughed. His laughter still rings in my ears. I screamed and fought in vain, while he continued laughing throughout. We were too far for anyone to help. He took me to the bedroom, threatened to kill me, slapped me, hit me, and raped me. I lost my virginity this way. He was still laughing when he was done. And I lay there, bleeding. The minute he went to the comfort room, I ran. I ran while my thighs were sticky with blood, and all I could think of was that I needed to get away. Far away. I found a cab and went home. Both my parents worked, so I was alone at home. I went and stood under the shower, and watched the blood mix with water, and go into the drain. Later I would know that my boyfriend literally sold my virginity to gain some money. I was sold by the person I trusted the most. I attempted suicide yet survived, but something irrevocable had happened to me. I was broken beyond imagination. I became pregnant, and had an abortion. This broke me even further. I wanted to forget the incident. So I got into a relationship soon after, and had sex, just so I could wash away the dirty feeling of being used. I wanted to feel loved, but this guy cheated on me, and I felt even more betrayed. It took me 2 years to get back into a relationship again. But I just couldn't be serious anymore. I had sex and left when I didn't feel anything. This went on till I had been with 9 guys already. Finally I went to get laid with a guy who never had sex. It was beautiful. He treated me as if I was fragile, taking his time with me, caressing my body, worshipping it. We got into a relationship because he wanted to, and continued for a while. It took me some time, but I told him about getting raped, and he held me while I cried, making me believe that it wasn't my fault. I felt ashamed to have had sex with so many other guys, but never told him about it. We fell in love, and it's been 2 years since we are in a strong relationship. I truly love him, and he loves me back. We will be getting married soon. My darkest secret is not telling him how many guys I have been with before him. For him it has only been me, and I'm so confused to whether I should tell him, or should just let it go. Please advice. Edits. Thank you so much for the love and support. I was 16 when this happened. I was in a relationship with my ex for 3 years, 19, when I was raped, and had an abortion. I know I shouldn't have chosen the way I chose. It took me time to respect myself. I had betrayed my parents and friends and left alone. I was scared to tell anyone, because of our society. I had a medical abortion when I was 2 months pregnant. I self-medicated and never went to a doctor. No one knew about this. It took me time to heal, and I regret for everything I have done. I was truly alone, and I just wanted to forget. Everyone had distanced themselves because of all the lies I said for my ex. It took time for me to respect myself. It took time to heal. I love my fiancé to no limits. Until him, I had never met a man I could love unconditionally and truly respect. Since we met, he has been always patient with me. He has his own dark corners, and it took him time to trust me. We learned from each other, and I think I have become a much better person since I have been with him. I have decided to tell him the truth. If he ever asks me, until then I'm going to remain silent. To those who commented me to see a therapist, thank you for understanding my situation. I know I need to see one before I get married, and I will. To those who asked why I didn't raise my voice against my ex, I was young, and they took photos of me and threatened to leak it if I ever spoke a word about this. I was too scared, so I let it go, and I regret that deeply. My ex had an accident few years later and broke his back and can barely run or walk fast now. I'm financially independent. After everything that happened, I thought I wasn't marriage material, and so I secured myself financially. I'm 26 now and working as a doctor in a reputable hospital. I also teach physiology and biochemistry in a medical school part-time. I earn enough for my family and me. Luckily my fiancé is also a doctor, so we are doing pretty well. Well, I'm supposed to go anonymous to answer this question. I'm from India, and I was brought up in a lower middle class family. I always desired to be rich and have a lavish lifestyle, and worked only on shortcuts, hence got caught up among wrong people. I completed my MBA in 2009 and was desperately looking for making more money as soon as possible through all the illegal ways, and unfortunately I found the way in a illegal business. I started making huge chunk of money every month from thousands. It went into lakhs, but I hid it all from my family. I was sure that shortly I would be a millionaire and was very confident about my life. But things changed with time, and a day came in 2010. I was arrested for my activities, and in a matter of months I was sentenced for 3 years in jail and all of my money was confiscated. I have seen hell in this period. I was locked up in a dark room for a month, where I had to do my stuff in 6x6 room, and food was served only once in a day. Different torture methods used. I still have marks on my back. My parents just left me to my fate as they were not in a position even to hire a defense lawyer. I thought my career was over, but jail turned out to be a university for me. I learned the art of handling life. I was released in January 2014. I relocated myself to different city, and I was 26 then. I started working as fresh for a salary of 20k. Now I'm on 45k. So, now the question, what actually happened to my dreams of living lavish life? When I was imprisoned I understood that freedom is actually a $1 billion asset. Food. I craved for eating good quality food during those days, and now I enjoy it all. Maturity. Money never teaches you maturity. Once you are matured you can lead a very happy life even with less money. Goals. Goals are not necessarily meant to be only in the terms of money. It can be in terms of anything you urge for. Now, after going through all the tough time, I feel I'm millionaire with 45,000 rupees I make every month. I still party on weekends. Found a GF who I will be marrying shortly. She knows my past. I personally think, be happy with what all you have, and thank God for it, and my parents feel they have hit a lottery, $1 billion lottery, as I'm on right track now. My best buddy, let's call him P, was an architecture student. He had a girlfriend, let's call her R, who was a junior in college, and she lived with 2 of her other colleagues in a rented apartment in my city. I often used to accompany my friend to his girlfriend's apartment, where they'd sit together, hold hands, and even kiss in front of us, me and the other girls. There were times when the 2 of them, my friend and his GF, would go into her room and I would be chatting it out with the other 2 girls, with whom I was quite familiar. I was in a different field of study than theirs, and they really looked up to me as I was well read. So this one afternoon, my friend and I went to his GF's apartment. One of the girls had gone home for some relative's marriage. So that day we were just 4 of us, my friend, his GF, her flatmate, let's call her A, and me. He and I were sitting on the couch. His GF was sitting on the floor between his legs, and he was kneading her shoulders. The other girl was sitting in front of us on the floor. Soon my friend too sat on the floor and started kissing the back of his GF's ears, licking her shoulder, and giving her love bites on her neck. In the meantime, her and I were talking, and there were times both of us were getting pretty distracted by the Love Adove play of the two lovebirds. And then I suddenly remembered that she had to buy some stuff for some assignment. So my friend told me, "Bae, you sit here with A, I will go out with R and help her get the stuff." I said, how long are you going to take?" P told me that they would be back in a couple of hours. They left and it was just A and me. And then we talked a bit about how lucky P and R were, and what a lovely couple they made. Suddenly A said, "Oh yeah, R is so lucky. She gets all the massages she wants." I said, "You don't really need a BF just to get massages," to which she argued, "Who's gonna give me a massage?" I said, "I can, if you are desperate for one. I'm really good at it." She said, "You're so super confident, huh?" And I replied, "Hell yeah, I know what all things I'm good at." So A said, "Alright then, give me a massage and prove it." I said, "We'll need a bed for you to lie down." She said, "Sure, come over to my room, it's a bit messy, but don't mind." She lay down on the bed and I started with her feet. By the way, she was wearing loose shorts and a t-shirt. I kneed her feet, and she said, "Oh my god, you are so good." I moved on to her ankles, and then her calf muscles, massaging her soft legs which looked freshly waxed. I had never been alone that way with a girl before, and it was obvious how the situation acted on my anatomy. But the decent guy I was, I never misbehaved. I said, "Massages are even better when there's oil on the body, it helps free movement of my hands." She said, "There's Johnson baby oil that I use, would that be okay?" I said, "Yeah, that should do." I applied oil on both her legs, and then started massaging both her legs from her ankles, upwards, to the knees. I was unsure if it would be appropriate to go higher than that. She enjoyed the massage, complimenting me with closed eyes. And then I said, "Okay, you're done." She opened her eyes and said, "Hey, so soon? My back is aching too." I said, "Oh, but I can't give you a massage with your shirt on, and I'm not your boyfriend, that you're gonna take it off and let me rub your back." She said, "Hey, you're my friend though, and I know you're a good guy. I'll remove my t-shirt, provided you keep massaging me with your eyes closed, and keep it a secret between us." I said, "Alright, if that's what you want to do." She made me close my eyes, and took off her top and bra. She said, "Okay. I'm ready." I poured oil into my hand, and then rubbed it on her shoulder, and moved downwards on her back, until I could feel my fingers touching the elastic of her shorts. The feeling of her soft back felt so good, that I could sense an erection inside my undies. As I moved my hands up and down on her back, the erection got uncontrollable to the extent of embarrassment. I was tempted to see how she looked, and so I kind of tried to look with barely open eyes. Her skin was flawless and shining. I was very horny and my erection was totally visible as I had a tent over my pants. I continued innocently, not trying anything naughty that would tarnish my image. She moaned out as I massaged her back. Soon I could sense something touching my dick. I peeped and saw her face was chin up, and she was staring at my erection. As I bent forward, my tent was touching her lips. She said, "Open your eyes, I know you're looking." I said, "I'm not, I swear." She said, "Then why is it that you're having an erection?" I told her I've never felt a grown woman this way. "I'm sorry, it just happened due to the touch." She said, "Alright, open your eyes now." I was scared, thinking what was next. "Take off your clothes, cause if you see me without clothes, I too want to see you without your clothes." I said, "What?" And she said, "That's right, take off your clothes, get naked." I opened my eyes fully. My erection was going soft due to the sudden shock. Before I could react, she unbuckled my belt, stretching her arms forward. It was fast and angry. She then took off the button of my pants and unzipped me. Her hands went behind my back and pulled down my pants and underwear to my thighs. My thingy was getting hard again, and I hated myself. She then looked up. I could see her breasts and a bit of her nipples now, and then said, "Now massage me with your eyes open." As I leaned to massage her back, I pulled my body a little backwards so that my dick would not rub on her face. She put both hands around my thighs and held them. She said, "Go further and massage my lower back." I tried to move to her side to do so, but she said, "Stay here and do it." I had no choice but to come a little forward and lean down towards her. As I slid my hands inside her shorts, I figured out that she was wearing panties. I kept my fingers outside her panties and pressed over it. She said, "Hey, don't ruin my panties with your oily hands. Move your hand under them." I was now almost certain that she was horny too. My dick was hard up and it rubbed her face while I massaged downwards. She raised her hood and suddenly popped my dick in her mouth. "Oh shit, you're leaking already," she said, and spit on the ground. She held my rod and cleaned my pre-cum with her thumb and then bobbed my dick into her mouth again as she moved her hands from my thighs to my buttocks. She held my ass tight. I could not control myself and I held her head with both my hands. I started mouth fucking her with a few strokes. She said, "Wait," and I got thinking, what does she want? Am I in trouble? She turned around lying on her back, exposing her small bare breasts fully. Her nipple butts were blooming and taut, but I did not dare to touch them, standing the same way with my hard erection and pants and undies above my knees. "Take off your clothes and come on top of me. Sit on my face, I want to suck you," she said. I did as ordered. My knees were on the sides of her face and my dick right over her mouth for milking. I knew now for sure that she wanted it as badly as I did. Courage filled me, and I pulled her shorts down as she cooperated by moving her legs up in the air. Her pink panties had a wet patch. I moved my face between her thighs, and we were ready to 69. I kissed her over her panties. She said, "I've not shaved down there in 2 weeks." I held both her thighs in my hands and spread them wide, kissing her inner thighs around her panties. And then I smooched her wet panties as she shrieked a little. I slid my hands inside her panties to squeeze her butt cheeks hard. I was no longer a gentleman. The beast in me had the better of me. She licked my knob teasingly and then sucked it. I wished she took it all inside her mouth, all the way. I tried going deeper in her mouth, but she blocked me with her hands, just sucking the knob. I now pulled her panties down to her ankles as she got rid of them, kicking her legs in the air. She had a bit of hair sprouts on her pussy, but wasn't very hairy. As I brought my mouth closer to her wet pussy, a fishy smell hit my nostrils. I didn't like how her pussy juices smelled, so I started breathing with my mouth. And then I started licking her like how they did in porn movies. It tickled her, and she kicked around shrieking and laughing. But I was horny. I held her legs apart strongly and smooched her pussy, sucking it till her pussy lips were in my mouth. She now started sucking my dick fully. Every suck was ecstasy. We did that for a few minutes, and I told her I'm gonna come. She stopped sucking and pushed me aside. I did not come as the movement had stopped. My dick was throbbing. She said, "What happened?" I said, "I need to wank a few strokes to get it out as you stopped." She held my tool and started wanking me. I grabbed her breasts and kneaded them. I then kissed her breasts and sucked her taut nipple while I squeezed her other boob. She kept wanking me gently, but I wanted hard wanking. I said, "Can we fuck?" She said, "No, let's not get there, but you can finger me while I shag you." We were both facing each other sideways. She wanked me while I had my arm around her back going between her butt cheeks. I rubbed her and then tried popping my middle finger inside her, but she shouted, "No, not that hole, it hurts," and I realized that I was trying to get my finger up her anus. She put her hand between her legs and held my hand. She guided me to the right hole and kept her hand over mine, helping me to rub her pussy. It was all gooey, and she moved her hand and rubbed her ass over my hand as she started wanking me harder. I ejaculated, big splash, shot up to her neck. I dug my finger deep into her pussy as she kept wanking me harder until I poured out my last drop. She continued moving her ass. I tried moving my hand out as I was done. She said, "You're so selfish, just that you are done, you're leaving me unsatisfied." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you weren't done yet." She just dropped onto the bed on her back, feeling her own pussy. I got by her side and moved her hand and put mine there instead. I finger fucked her with one hand while she held my dick. My other hand rubbed her breasts and pinched her nipples. She suddenly clasped my hand with both her thighs, jumping as if she were possessed. I continued wagging my finger inside her wet flesh, and she bit her lips as she moaned heavily. I could feel my fingers getting all dirty, and I knew she had come too. She then looked up to the clock and said, "Hey, we better clean up. P&R will be back anytime now. By the way, thanks for the massage, I loved it. And don't forget what you promised me." We were again back to our normal senses. I was a little embarrassed to look at her or talk about what we had just done. She went to her bathroom while I went to ours bathroom to clean up. Well, that's how things turned up that day, my wildest massage experience. We never discussed it ever again, and neither did we get another chance to be alone. But we both enjoyed that moment to the fullest. If you made it this far, you owe it to yourself to subscribe.